Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about the deliverables for this course. Hanoi Digital City deliverables. These are the 3 presentations you'll be delivering in this course. The takeaway for this talk. Deliverables are how your work is assessed. This is true of this class, but it's also true of real life. When you are working on a deal or you're doing an analysis or you're doing part of your job, what people around you are going to see is the presentation, or what they're going to read is the report. That represents all the hard work that you've done, that has gone into it. And they're not really going to look at much else. So let's get this right. In this class, we are looking for your deliverables to deliver on 3 major groups of skills. The first one is obvious, communication and presentation. That's why we're in the class. That's why we're doing this. The second one is critical thinking and problem solving. And the cycle you're going to go through your whole life is you solve a problem and then you present your solution. And that's why you need a good problem solving or critical thinking ability. And finally, team building and leadership. You're going to be working in teams, and there's going to be too much work for any one person to do. And that's why we have teams, and that is going to impact on your work and the assessment you get on your work. So let's start with the table of contents for the deliverables section. First, we're going to review the idea of the life cycle of a project. Then we're going to look at your specific deliverables for this course. And then we're going to finish up by looking at best and worst practices. So think about this class, or think about this, this project, the HDC project, in terms of a life cycle. We are growing an organization. When we first meet, we don't know each other, and there's nothing there, there's no structure. And then we build an organization, we build a plan, and then we finally deliver in the final session of our group work. So think about this in terms of growing an organization. We have control over this. This isn't just something happening outside of our control. We have control over the speed of the growth and the direction of the growth. We decide what kind of organization this is going to be. And the deliverables that we're talking about are just you explaining the decisions you made to grow this organization and to reach your strategic goals. When we do this project, we're moving from building a team to the big final presentation. And the simulation is what is moving with us, or is moving us from this first meeting to the final pitch. So a lot of times we talk about the simulations in terms that are almost cinematic, and we talk about scenes. So this is the first scene that you'll be working on together, is figuring out who the leader is. And the challenges you'll find as you build this organization are going to come from outside the organization, outside your team, and from within the organization, either your team or your skills, or differences of opinions of how to proceed. But that's all part of the film, part of the movie. You're also going to control the direction of growth, how your organization is going to grow. You're going to be analyzing problems, and you're going to be making decisions. And those decisions, especially the ones about HR and about leadership and about our corporate culture, the culture or the mission of your new team, your new company, and all the decisions you make are structuring your organization, especially in the first half. In the first half, we're looking at process, and in the second half, we're looking at building a product. So the decisions you make early during the process building time are going to affect how your team performs later during the product side. So in each one of these scenes, in each section of the simulation, the deliverables are the result. So we're always working towards short-term goals that are contributing to a long-term goal. So the deliverable is just you explaining your decision or your proposal, and that's going to be judged based on 3 dimensions or 3 skill sets that we talked about a little bit earlier: communication, problem solving, and teamwork. So this is gonna, when I look at your deliverable, or when anyone looks at any of your deliverables going forward, they're probably gonna be looking at some variation of these 3 categories of skills or abilities: the ability to communicate, the ability to solve problems, and the ability to work with others. So now we have the process part down. Let's look at the actual product. Let's look at the deliverables. There are going to be 3 deliverables, and they're going to take place at the end of the first week, the end of the second week, and then the last day of class. So in the first deliverable, let me see if I go into details. Yes. In the first deliverable, we're looking at, I'm having you introduce the team. So this is going to be a brief 3-minute narrated slide deck, which is similar to what I'm doing now. A 3-minute narrated slide deck that introduces the team and outlines your goals and your mission. And here, the main assessment is going to be on how well you present. Are you able to follow the 3PP method? Are you bringing in the right kinds of resources? Is everyone getting a shot? Is everyone contributing? So the first one, I'm really looking at the mechanics of the presentation. The second one is, the second deliverable is at the end of week 2, and this one's more focused on growth. So once again, you are preparing a slide deck, you're preparing a narrated slideshow or a talk, but this time you're preparing 2. One is, and it's the same set of facts, the same set of information. You're talking about how you as a team are going to grow and hit your goals. You're going to explain what your new plan is and then talk about how you're going to hit that. But one presentation is going to the people upstairs, the investors, the party officials, the CEOs, and the C-suite executives. The other presentation is going out to either the general public or to potential customers and clients. So same message, but it's got to be packaged differently. And that's something we're going to learn how to do. The final deliverable, which this whole thing is leading up to, is what we call the big room presentation or the big room pitch. In this, you're seated, you're standing in front of the auditorium, and seated in front of you are all the big decision makers and the money people and the movers and shakers. And you're going to stand up, and you've got a little bit longer. You've got 5 or 7 minutes, but now there are a few more restrictions and requirements. So you're going to have to show that several people on your team are speaking. We're going to expect more detail, and you're going to have to fill up a little bit more time because these things can go 5 to 7 minutes, which when you're doing it is a long time. So let's finish up by talking about the best and worst practices. And here we're kind of combining the best practices for delivery in general and the best practices for doing well in the course. In this case, they're the same thing. So one of the best practices is to know who you're speaking to and to tailor your talk for that particular type of stakeholder. Second, get to the point and stay on the point. If you've got 5 things to say, you might be talking about 5 different presentations. Don't try to jam everything into one talk because it's not very persuasive and it gets confusing and it undermines your own hard work. Next, control the next conversation. Control what happens after this talk with a good call to action, or CTA. And a lot of this class is about, it talks about the CTA, how to prepare it, how to deliver it, and what to do next. And then there are the worst practices, things to avoid doing. The first worst practice is planning for a dramatic big finish. I used a movie analogy earlier to talk about how we're dividing up the course, but you should break with the movie idea in one key aspect: no big surprising finishes. We want to tell them the end of the story first and then explain what it means to them. So don't save the best for last when you are doing a business presentation. Put the best first and then spend the rest of the time talking about that. People who don't use graphics or use misleading graphics are making a big mistake. If I were to have a sunshiny, happy scene as the image right next to me, it would be confusing because I'm talking about worst practices. And I don't want you to do that because that really works against yourself. And the final worst practice is a confusing or a contradictory call to action. Start your analysis at the beginning, but once you've analyzed the situation, that should yield you your call to action. Once you've analyzed a problem or analyzed a situation, what you're going to be left with is, all right, now I know what I'm going to do. You start the process over again with that I know what I'm going to do, with that call to action in mind, and you rebuild the whole presentation so it's leading to that. So the call to action might be the last thing they hear, but it's the first thing you're thinking about. And you are setting them up for that call to action from the first word you say. Final word. Solving big problems and then presenting those solutions is a very big part of the job for many, if not most, senior managers. If you want to lead a company, if you want to do deals, if you want to invest, if you want to get investment, the odds are you are solving a problem and presenting your solution. That's what you get paid for. The higher you climb, the more you get paid for that. So our job here in this class is to help you master the mechanics of these basic presentation tasks so that you can focus your brilliant mind on developing value-added solutions, not trying to figure out how to move the title from the left to the right. We'll do all those mechanical stuff, those mechanical tasks now, and we'll learn how to do that so that later when you have business solutions, that's what you're devoting 99% of your energy to. Okay, thanks very much. I will talk to you again soon.